Yo, what up? Good morning, GMG. Hey, Monday, woo, baby, oh my, Monday, July 21st, 2025, look at that. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day, another beautiful week to have a beautiful week. I got my co-host in the house, Mando, Tyler. Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good morning. Fantastic. Did we?
You showed up.
Are we? We're higher, right? We're higher from
We
Friday,
are. We did go higher, and we are higher. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Good.
I think the rest is. So
Bitcoin's kind of sideways, but everything else is higher. So been a good weekend.
I thought you were taking a week off.
Well, we're still about 4% from retirement, so I'll let you know. I still get my 4 days off, right? If that happens, boss, right?
Well, I even told you that you can take the whole week off, even without it happening, But I'm glad you're here, man. It's fun to start the week off strong all together, man. What a fucking weekend it's been. What a start of the week. You absolutely love to see that. Tyler, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's feeling like Jubilant July here. We've got ETH, melting faces, Sol is up, and then yesterday, man, NFTs scorching hot. One of the biggest sweeps we've seen in years. Damn, that was fun to see. Got my blood pumping yesterday.
Yeah, dude. As the great, Confucius once said, I feel like Farouk in 2021. And so, Tyler's got the green shirt on. Tyler, you got to study Tyler's dress, like his clothing, of choice of clothes when he comes on the show, because I know he's like mindful about it. You know what I mean? Like he's got his green shirt on. He's got a green Bulls hat on.
Green Bulls. Wow, look at that.
Green Bulls. And what color underwear?
All green. All green today.
All green. I like it. Coordinated, color coordinated. Anyway, so down the show today we'll talk markets. I mean, love to see that. The only red candles I love to see, I never thought I'd be cheering on red candles, is the Bitcoin dominance candles. I mean, those are just like, there's a lot of red on that chart. You'd love to see that. So we'll talk about the market. Tyler's top 100, Tyler's top 1,000 is back on the menu. We're gonna have to talk a lot about this. We're gonna have to take some time to talk NFTs. Like this we have to. This is NFT stole the show this weekend. We'll probably start there. You absolutely love to see that. It's always a good vibe, right? When NFTs pump, everybody's always happy. A lot of 2021 people stuck around, I feel like, this bear market. So it's always good vibes on the timeline. Even Bongos, let me add him on stage. Even Bongos, Ruins, and Ordinals had a green weekend. Back to prices on scene since last week. And then we are joined also by our show sponsor, the Kraken team. Kraken team's going to join us and chit chat about a lot of stuff. We're going ETF stocks, a bunch of stuff that they've got in the works and that they've been doing. Then also a YEET giveaway. Someone's going to win 1,000 and up. Someone's going to win some money today on the show. You'd love to see that. And last but not least, this show is powered by Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is a connectivity network shaping the future of on-chain UX. If you've connected to Web3 app, you've seen Wallet Connect. That blue logo, it's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto is recognizable as Visa at checkout. Want to learn more? Follow Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. I'm out of breath. I'm too excited. But also, shit, dude, the fuck? I worked out too hard this morning. And I'm too excited right now. Also, Kraken Pro. With Kraken Pro, you get full control over your layout. Drag and drop any module. Customize it all. It's clean, it's smooth, and built for real traders. Actually, if you had longed a lot of the coins we talked about last week on Kraken Pro this weekend, you'd be up. If you trade crypto, check out pro.kraken.com. Trade without trade-offs. Speaking of trading, Mando, see what you got for us today.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
Yeah, GM everyone. So it has been a better week for altcoins in general. A better weekend. Bitcoin's up very slightly, but we had obviously the move in ETH, and then we had a move in Solana at least today, and it's been a bit more of a broader rally, I would say, in alts. So Bitcoin dominance down to just shy of 61%. Remember, it hit its high at 66%. So this has been a 5% move so far. A lot of people seemingly are ready to say that a cycle top for Bitcoin dominance. I'm still unconvinced, but I do think that it's important to note that ETH versus alts has generally been outperforming too. So like ETH has generally outperformed most alts so far. So what I said is that ETH is driving the majority of this. That's still the case. We've seen a little bit of a reversal in that today with things like Solana moving, but I don't know if this is necessarily a big altcoin move or if this is still just like an ETH move with some ripple effects. Let me put it that way. But what we did see is some more of the riskier parts of the market starting to move this weekend. So, and the main one there is NFTs. Like NFTs moving, we started to see some of those move in like November, December last year, if you remember, kind of towards the end of that move. And people are like, oh, this is this a top signal or is this just another way to play the ETH trade? I think this is another way to play the ETH trade. I felt like in November, December, it felt more like a top signal of like, wow, like everyone's going for like the most risky bits of the market. This, I actually think it feels quite rational. I think people are getting very bullish on ETH, and I think they're looking at other ways to play that trade. And blue chips, haven't said that in a while. Blue chip NFT projects is actually a way to do that, particularly punks, which we saw the big sweep in, and then when they start moving, some other stuff moves too. So I think this NFT move makes sense. I don't know how long it lasts, but I do think that people will like this as an ETH beta trade, essentially. So you've seen the top ETH collections all move up decent amount. CryptoPunks has been the main ones. You've seen very big moves in things like Moonbirds. You see big moves in Pudgy Penguins. Even some of the apes are moving higher again. This has been generally the top ETH collections are moving up. Which is very interesting to see. Like I when we were speaking about ETH beta before, generally people have gone for DeFi coins or meme coins, and NFTs have been left aside. But it does feel as though NFTs look kind of good here. At least CryptoPunks, I think, as like the Bitcoin of NFTs, let's put it that way. And you have CryptoPunk dominance. It still feels like those can go higher here. We spoke about it. Obviously, Tyler's been keeping us up to date with the Bitcoin versus ETH spread, and
hey, it's doing pretty good. It's Tyler's euphoric this morning. His call is like.
I think it was the right call. It was the right call.
It's just like a 2012 tour over here in this call.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's gotten people bullish about a range of different things, and people calling for NFT season. Oh my God, buy everything. We're about to have 2021 again. I still really don't think it's the same. I think this is an ETH trade. I don't think people were buying NFTs as ETH beta back in 2021. I think they were buying them because they thought it was the future of like collectibles, and that digital ownership and identity were going to be massive drivers, which they were. But the ETH trade was a byproduct, particularly from like the trading community. I think this time around it feels more like, oh, punks might be the best ETH beta actually out there, or one of the best ETH betas, and that caused that initial sweep. And then we've seen like the ripple effect of that. And it's very similar to how I view the altcoin versus ETH trade. That Benjamin Cowan, who has been a decent follower over the last 10 years, he put out a really good tweet yesterday, which I'll just read out now. I retweeted it on my timeline, so maybe you can bring it up. But he says, for years, people said, why hold Bitcoin when alts outperforming Bitcoin? And Bitcoin dominance went from 38% to 66%. Now those same people are saying, why hold ETH when alts will outperform? You cannot help those that don't want to be helped. And he's been a big Bitcoin believer, but he's basically saying that this whole like own alts because if Bitcoin moves, alts will move. He's saying don't get caught up with that with ETH as well. And I that is what I subscribe to. It's what I've been saying for the last 2 months. Now, I'm not saying you can't have pumps and all this sort of stuff, but I think that is going to be the trend, that ETH own ETH. If you're gonna buy ETH beta, make sure you have some ETH. Don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna own ETH beta or NFTs or all of sort of stuff. I do
What do
think
you mean?
Well, I think we can be realistic and say that you've kind of matched ETH with MOG and underperformed ETH with Pepe, right?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. This is true.
And for the risk profiles of those two coins, I would much have preferred owned ETH. You haven't done badly from it, but like
No, you're right.
when
Because
the
the
market,
drawdown on MOG was insane the last
right,
couple.
and if there is another drawdown,
You're
it's
right.
gonna be bad. So and those are like prime ETH beta trades, right? Those are like you couldn't have picked a better. MOG is like been considered one of the best ETH beta trades out there. Only really REKT and a few other things have really outperformed ETH in this move, and I am of the view that can continue. I don't think the drivers of this move in broader crypto are really to do with altcoins. I think it's to do with ETH treasury and ETFs and tokenization. Anyway.
Yep. No, I mean there's an institutional bid on ETH nonstop now, similar to Bitcoin's early in the last year, or let's say in the last year, not even early or anything. So it's I think we've talked about this on the show, right? But I don't think you want to fade that. Also, there's some crazy exchanges that happen on the timeline. I don't know if you saw that. Arthur Hayes like, fam, can we pump ETH to 5K by Friday? And then you have Tom Lee. Good idea. Like this is a type of bull posting happening on the timeline right now for Ethereum. Like I saw this morning, I was like, holy shit, right? Ty, like this is absurd.
It's fun to see. One of my quants said there's not a whole lot of resistance on ETH up till all-time high.
No, the 4K mark, and that's it, right?
He's saying he doesn't even think 4K is going to be that hard. So that got me a little bowled up. I got to be honest. And I'm also the guy who looks for the bullish takes out there to get excited. So take it all with a grain of salt. But now, like you've got another ETH treasury code has came out. They're going to buy $1 billion or up to 1.5 billion, and it's going to take a little time for that to develop. But any more action?
Have you guys seen? I mean, speaking of bullish,
we are 4% from retirement. Everyone, just to let you know, we are moving up higher as we speak.
They're listening to you to talk.
Have we seen this week's? Last week was a Tesla fractal. Have we seen this week's bull post of ETH? The
thing about Deez's post about ETH is that he doesn't own any. So he's looking at these charts going like, oh my fucking God. he said like specifically he doesn't own any. He only owns ETH.
He's in MOG, REKT, and NFTs, I believe.
He owns some now because he sold a punk accidentally in that sweep.
Oh yeah. One of his punks was lifted for 44.5.
He brought up the Bitcoin ETH chart. Like if you look at one of his other posts yesterday, and this chart just screams like he posts a lot. That one, yeah. Max pain scenario for my dumb ass would be ETH Bitcoin goes back to range high. That chart to me, I mean, we have just reversed like many months of underperformance there in days, and it kind of there's not been a chance to get in. Do you know what I mean?
So violent.
And there is a scenario here where you do get that move up to all-time high, which would be like, I guess 0.5-ish on that, 0.05-ish on that chart, or 0.04-ish, something like that. And that's just that is just pain because
I love it. I love pain.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. I fucking love it.
Very few people are positioned for it. I think you're making a great point. Even the more rational folks who've gotten out of the trenches, right? They've all been buying Bitcoin for the most part, right? If they're getting out and putting into more safer crypto, they're either in stables or Bitcoin. Like you didn't see anyone saying, "I'm going to buy an ETH back."
No, they all bought Bitcoin at like 120K as well, thinking it goes to 150, right? So
we did.
What do you mean? You did?
No, we bought ETH, dude.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, we did. Damn right we did.
How about ETH betas?
Yeah, me too. I don't think I think I have enough ETH just for like for gas in my wallets. But it's fine. Listen, I'm doing good. Farcoin's about to break out, and that when that shit happens, I'm not gonna regret the ETH. That it's coming. It's coming. We're feeling something here. My balls are tingling. Wow, ETH is almost 3,900 right now, guys. Mando, don't you dare. ETH is gonna hit 4K. Mando's camera's gonna go off. It's gonna happen on the show. He's just gonna gone, and then you're gonna see the chat, the FOMO hour chat on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Mando has left the chat. Oh my god, that would be comical. Anyways, all right. Anything else in the market, Mando, that we need to? No, we're good, right?
This week for macro, there's actually quite a lot. So there's quite a lot of earnings, Tesla and I think Amazon, and so it's quite a big week for earnings. About 20% of the S&P is reporting this week, so there'll be some movers in tech on the back of that. There's a couple of Powell speeches, but other than that, it's a little bit quiet. I think people will still be looking at these kind of continual headlines about Powell versus Trump. Like, does he do anything there? It's still not really put to bed. Let me put it that way. And it would spook the market if anything happened there, even if Powell were to resign. And then, yeah, I think that's kind of it. We're just going to see more stories, I think, around ETH and ETH inflows is going to be the main thing of this week, and then whether that continues over to NFTs.
Okay, perfect. Love to see that. Well, speaking of NFTs, let's go to Tyler and let's start with that because there's a lot to cover.
For daily NFT and crypto analysis. Tyler D on FOMO hour calls the kid game.
Ready to bash some bears. Folks, crypto majors very green. Sol and ETH leading the way. Bitcoin is up 0.5%, 119K. We've got ETH up 2.5%, 38.50. Sol leading the way, up 6% at 193. Some of the top movers on the day, CFX was up 50%, Pingu up 30%, Jasmine and Cass. We had Bitcoin dominance fall to 60.7%. That's the lowest level since March 1st, partially because of these ETH ETF inflows. So 402 million into the ETH ETFs on Friday. That beat the Bitcoin ETF inflows for the second day in a row. Also tweeted over the weekend, 40% of the net inflows have happened in the past 8 trading sessions. So it clearly is accelerating. In other news, we had Trump sign the Genius Act into law on Friday, establishing the first regulatory framework for the U.S. dollar-backed stablecoins. And then immediately, Tether CEO Paolo came out and said they're laying out plans for Tether to fully comply with a new stablecoin that fits into these regulations. So look for that to come. We had Peter Thiel's bullish file for an IPO, following Gemini and Grayscale's footsteps. Charles Schwab, CEO, he went on CNBC and said they're going to be offering spot Bitcoin ETH trading soon. And then Jack Dorsey's Block becoming the second crypto company to enter the S&P 500, following Coinbase. I believe their stock was up 9% this morning. In Treasury news, Ether Machine has raised $1.5 billion to build the next Ethereum Treasure Co. $800 million earmarked for ETH purchases. That is tied to the DYNX stock ticker. That pops like 30% today. BTBT added another 20,000 ETH last week. Sailor bought $740 million of Bitcoin, average of around 119K last week. And now Trump Media, that was the news right before the show. Trump Media has $2 billion in Bitcoin. So Trump is a Bitcoin bull. In more ways than one. And token airdrop and protocol news, the Pump team has started doing daily buybacks, which look to be 25% of their daily revenue. So they had the big splashy day, and now they're doing 25% more, like the 150K per day range. Pump trading at 4.3 billion FTV right now. Meme coin launchpad volumes, though, we're up 15% week over week. Though Bonk Fund, 69% share right now. So they are still the commanding leader. We saw Polymarket drop their 2028 election market. They also said 4% yield to help make those bets more meaningful on a longer time horizon. They also teased a new resolution process, so look out for that. MYRIAD added to the Linea Hub inside MetaMask portfolio. Also several new ETH-related markets over on Linea. Go check those out. And then Kaido, right before the show, they introduced several new changes to their Yapper leaderboards along with their G Kaido system. Meme coins, very green. Pingo again leading the way. Doge is up 30% on the week, now 41 billion. In all-time highs, we had SBX hit $2 and a new all-time high yesterday. REKT, 250 million FTV this morning. New all-time high for it. And then the rest of the news is NFTs, folks. ETH NFT leaders up 10 to 20%. Punks plus 17% after a 45 punk sweep. 88 punk sales in the past day. The floor is now $180,000. Moonbirds were a top mover over the weekend. They were up about 3x to close to 2 ETH. Several generative art NFTs rallied. Squiggles were swept to 6. Fidenzas are up to 30. Ringers are up 50%. Robotos even came up 1,500% after their team teased to come back. It was a bit of an NFT craze over this weekend. And even the ordinals are up 20 to 30%. Taproot Wizards leading the way, up 30% to 0.22 Bitcoin. So a lot of green on the NFT board. And that's the roundup.
Damn, there's a lot. I'm not sure how I feel the Robotos part of the
Understandably so.
Clonex, Robotos pumping. You're like, ooh, what's going on here? REKT is up like 2x too. Love to see that.
Nice.
But we stay quiet about that one. This one's a sleeper. You know what I mean? And also, I forgot there was also something else in that front. But anyways, we should start with NFTs because at the end of the day, we all three of us came into the space with NFTs. Well, we're class of 2021, right? Like people like to name it. And I have to say though, class of 21 has been a class that stuck around a lot. Like I know we talk about seeing familiar faces popping in back in. Yes, there's always tourists, but 21, like, because a lot of us kind of bag held that shit through the lows, you know what I mean? Even though we took some off, we bag held a lot or round tripped a lot. And a lot of 2021 folks came on to like build a lot of cool shit, I find, which is super cool. So let's start there, Tyler. I mean, I feel like I know Mando mentioned it a little bit, but we got to talk about this punk sweep.
Yeah, a few things happened. I think the punk sweep was definitely the big one. So I was casually following the markets yesterday. I saw the punk bot was going off. So I log in and just see the biggest wave of sales that we've seen in years. It was hard to tell right away how many had even been swept because someone came in and did like a 45 punk sweep, and then Punks OTC came in and bought like 19 more. So there were 65 sold in the matter of like a 5-minute period. 80, as I mentioned, 88 sales in the past day. If you look at the overall punk floor chart, it basically went from 150K to 180K in 5 minutes.
Your website. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay, there it is.
Whoa. July 4th, the punk floor was 93K. So it's up 2x in 17 days.
God damn.
Which again just shows you how violent the moves are. Or how violent they can be in NFTs. You basically just have to be in the position if you believe it, because you're never going to catch the up days. So it's playing out again. Now holding out about 1.5 Bitcoin for one punk. So that ratio is basically off the charts at this point. But what was interesting about this weekend is it wasn't just punks. So Moonbirds have been running from Friday night into Sunday. I think perhaps speculation of some announcement coming this week. That was a pretty big run. It was up about 150, close to 200%. Then Squiggles were swept in the art world right ahead of this punk sweep. And then after the punk sweep, all the chats I was in was totally electric. What can we buy downstream? So like everyone's going for like, what's the next Robotos that's going to pump 15x? What's the 0.01 NFT? So folks already went straight down to the edge of the risk curve.
I loved how you were tweeting about Robotos.
Wait, he did?
You tweeted about Robotos this weekend, Tyler. Like,
I didn't see that one.
I just thought it was hilarious. I just saw it in my car. I was like, wow, like Tyler's really in the fucking weeds. If he's reading the Robotos, what did they announce? Like, like a new season for Robotos or something like that. Like we're back.
Yeah, all they did was like come back and have one more tweet. Their last tweet was like a year ago.
Tyler must be like. Tyler's wife must be going crazy with this guy at home, man. He must be just running around the house all weekend long. She's got kids to take care of and Tyler now.
Like keep a pulse on things. And then as the dust has settled this morning, it basically has permeated the entire board. So Fidenzas, where are Fidenzas? I'm trying to pull these up.
No, you got to hear you. Fidenza went up 20%. Wow.
Yeah, it's up even more than that now. So it's up at 34. Ringers are up 68% at 21. You see some of these here. Grifters are up. When's the out now? So the art world's moving. All the PFPs moved. Pingu's up 16.6. Those things are $60,000 now. Budget penguins. And what's interesting here is so you've got like the punk trade is a collectible trade. I think also staking ETH trade. Like if you're going to buy 40 ETH, would you rather just buy 40 ETH or would you rather effectively stake it in a punk? Other of these have the token interplay as well. So the Pingu token has been leading the Pudgy Penguin NFTs. Pingu is up much more than the NFTs are up the bottom.
Same for REKT, right?
Same for REKT.
Yeah, REKT guy is like 0.65 here.
I think that's also a part of the driver for the Moonbird trade right now. Spencer, the new owner, I think he's been pretty vocal that he likes token plays for NFT projects. So not too hard to project that out. So that's another driver taking place in all this. And then just a bit of the rotation play. So Squiggle start pumping, Fidenza start pumping. Pokes are going to start going down the art blocks list next, right? You're going to see Genesis, Elevated Deconstruction. All of these.
So
that would have been okay, but you went straight to Robotos, dude. Like,
no, it's because
you didn't go down the list.
Where's this Robotos tweet? I gotta find it, dude.
They haven't tweeted for a year, and Tyler's already there in the weeds. This is the great thing about NFTs versus like in the trenches for NFTs versus in the trenches for meme coins. Is meme coins you need like a trading bot, and you're like looking at which wallets bought what. With this, you've got to be following all the different accounts. You know, you've got to be following all the different NFT accounts and like in the Discords and like grinding for alpha. This is where Tyler comes into like really his A game because he is the news. Like no one else reports this news. So like Roboto's getting a tweet from Tyler, like that's like Frank all posting like a meme coin, right? Like this is like the only person giving news on NFT project is Tyler. He's the only one left.
Which ones do I have NFTs that are worth any money right now? So I can.
You have so much power at this point, Tyler. Like you are the kingmaker right now. Like nobody else is still in the Discords. Nobody else is still tracking the tweets of all these guys. So
I still have 3 Robotos. No fucking way, dude. I'm gonna take my money, dude.
So what are we pumping today, Tyler? What are you looking at?
It'll probably be like Little Lemons or Nakamigos.
Here we go. Little Lemon Party.
The moon. I still have a Goblin Town NFT. Oh, no. Yetis, boys. Yetis, boys. That's what we're pumping.
When the NFT archaeologists start coming back, and that's when you know it might be time to
Super Yetis.
Maybe
Super Yetis.
Take a little risk off.
You remember Super Yetis?
Leonidas moves to back into NFTs, does he?
What do I have in my vault? Do I have anything worth anything? I got rid of a lot in the bear market for like pure ETH.
You got some good shit there. What's that?
No, I get sent. That's stuff that people spam me with. Well, I have 13 red guys. I minted those. I never touched them. I still have a penguin, of course. Obviously, my punk, but I can't sell the punk. Can't sell the penguin, right? Can't sell the red guys. People run. I only have one of everything. I can't sell this shit. One dick butt.
It's terrible.
It's me too. Like it's me. It's a dick butt. You know. I still have 4 clone X's. No, I'm getting rid of this shit.
ETH's still going. Ooh, baby.
Oh, Farcoin 160. This is the level for. We might have to flip back to coins. I love NFTs.
Okay. Bye.
Baroque. You said to me as a friend, next time it goes to 160.
Not this time.
Not this time.
I'm not fucking selling. No, but you know what? You don't sell
every single time. Every single time.
What did you sell for? What would you sell for? Cash?
No.
Jeez? Like, dude, I am not selling shit. I've been.
All right, look, I'm a friend. Everyone in the chat. Everyone in the chat. Oh, you got another order, do you? You got another Amazon Spain's come through?
I'll be right back. Amazon's at the fucking door again.
Chat, let it be known that I've told Farouk that he should take profits on part of his Farcoin. So when he's crying in a month or two that he should have sold and this, that, and the other, I was the good friend who told him that he should have done that again.
Yeah.
Have you got any of those as well? I mean, I'm kind of doing a little bit with ETH at the moment where I'm like, oh, maybe I should just raise my targets. Any trade which has gone well for you, like, oh, it's going to go higher.
That's how
I
handle most of my trades in general. Is I end up
yeah, I can see that.
Long. Except for pump, which we never even had a chance to really be up on. Looks good. I mean, 160 is a big level, and we haven't gotten through it yet. I'm watching it live here. Looks like we're just battling up against it.
I'm still back. Farcoin.
This would be the most loved rally. We talk about the most hated rallies, and I think a lot of people are out of position on Pingu. I think a lot are still out of position on like SPX. Definitely out of position on REKT. People are in position for Farcoin. Like
I don't think so.
That's clear.
Only me and Rookie and Dip Wheeler.
It will be the most euphoric coin rally for CT.
I'm telling you guys. It's going to happen. I've been holding this position for months.
Yeah.
For months. My patience shall be rewarded. I can't believe I bought Pump, dude. Now I'm pissed. Everything's up.
We whiffed on that. Yeah, the opportunity cost of being in the Pump trade is
I still think we win over midterm. It's just the op cost is insane, right? Clemente sold though this weekend, right?
That put the bottom in. God bless Clemente. He somehow managed to put in both the local top and the local bottom on Pump.
I don't understand how he does it. This is so much power.
It really is talent.
Guys, I got to go, but I think I'm just going to leave you with a few questions. Let's all give our targets for Farcoin, SPX, Punks versus Bitcoin, Pups. I think Pups. We haven't talked about Pups for a little bit, and I think we deserve to talk about it. And also just go through anything in your OpenSea wallet, and let's ask for targets from the audience. You know,
sounds like a fun show to me.
Okay, cool. All right, see you tomorrow, guys.
We'll see you next week. No, I think we're going to see him next week. Actually, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be sad if he hits 4K this week while he's not with us and I think that actually is going to happen.
Mando's so funny. Like Mando talks the most shit when he's up a lot when he's just talking shit.
Yeah,
like his tweet about Iranians, his tweet about like Israel taking out Iran, about me and Cyrus. That's when you know the UPNL is ridiculous. We saved him though. He tried to close on Friday. We're like, you don't close that. Maybe he owes us like at least 5% of his trade, right?
I agree.
I'm attacking Mando. Tyler and I think you owe us 5% of your ETH trade for saving you from closing it on Friday. There you go. I let him know. Anyways, what else is there? I know we have 5 more minutes until our guests are going to be here. I see them in the stew. What else is worth covering? So much going on.
I think people need to see the Doge chart. It is a big move. We've been talking for months about
called it.
Doge.
Again.
It really hasn't done anything, and now it's starting to do something.
It broke out.
It broke out 37% move on the week, which to put that in perspective, it's a $42 billion meme coin. So that's 15 billion. That's effectively the market cap of everything else. Like that's Pepe plus Bonk plus Pingu plus Farcoin basically added in a week.
Wow.
The overall meme coin market cap, I tweeted the chart out this morning. It's looking pretty good.
72% from the lows, July 5th.
And the Doge bulls are back on my timeline. They're calling for $1 this run.
This is good though. Like you want this, right? Like this is super. Like I see this as an extremely positive thing in the industry, right? Like you want those bulls up, shape. Like then it goes down. They even go down the risk curve too, because they play other memes as well, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a wealth effect.
Yeah. And
when Doge runs, Doge is what led the meme coin rally in December, right? It basically it soared. It peaked in December, and then we had the overall meme, like the on-chain meme peak was in January.
I was DMing with Bong Guy a few months ago, just chit-chatting, like, yo, what's your thoughts on markets that are like when it first ran, and he was telling me like he talks about this a lot. Like he's convinced like you need a Doge run. He's like, there's no like far corner $10, all this stuff like without that Doge run. You know, like that's his whole thesis is around Dogecoin, right? And I think he's right. I know he's bullish about Floki and stuff. Again, it says like the typical ones like Doge, Sheep, Floki. Actually, how's Sheep do? I haven't looked at the Shiba chart in forever. I don't really pay attention to that. Is that up as well?
Still 9.5 billion. I feel like it's up 17% on the week. This feels like kind of one of those stable memes that it moves up when everything else moves up.
I'm not a buyer, but wow, can I just take a second to show people this shit? Like, do you guys understand how insane these runs get? Like, I don't think people realize, Tyler, how insane things get. Let me pull it. Where is it? Oh no, the weekly doesn't work out. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Was it there? Yeah, this was it.
Yeah,
I don't think people understand.
Candle that ran to 50 billion.
That's it. I'll put a 3-day candle because it kind of doesn't make sense. Let's go back on the daily. I don't think people realize the wealth effects of these bull markets when they happen, right? Like this is absurd, Tyler. This thing went from Monday, October 4th, from 2.75 billion to October 28th. So talking about 24 days to 54 billion. We're talking about 24 days, Tyler.
It's hard to fathom.
It's very hard to fathom. It's extremely hard to fathom. Like, and I don't think people understand like these effects. Look at this one. Like, obviously, like you don't time this usually, right? But still, like you could have timed this, that. Dogecoin was 60+ bill from this. In just same thing. It's all a matter of a couple of weeks. So things can happen quick. And you usually have these pockets of time to like be able to catch as much upside on the trade. And then you don't get these big runs again. And they happen. And I think those are the times where like you really, sometimes your best happens maybe twice, 3 times a year. And there's 2-3 trades a year that you need to make your whole year. So it's good to pay attention to these pockets of time. Anyways, what else? I mean,
yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the Genius Act. I don't think we need to get through it. I mean, the big news from Friday was that it's just official. So it is signed into law. And then the second effect is we've already got Tether and Paolo saying, hey, we're gonna figure out a new stable coin that meets your regulations. So that'll be a big one, just since it's coming from Tether, the #1 stable coin in the world. Look out for that.
And I like that shout out to Paolo from President Trump after 10 years of FUD. I like that video. I thought that was like kind of like an iconic moment for crypto in general. It's like all this FUD against USDT, Tether FUD's like a thing, right? And then you got that Paolo mention out there. I thought that was cool.
And the other thing is just like signaling crypto more mainstream. Like we had some family in town. It was my son's birthday this weekend, and like both of the grandmas were like saw like the crypto thing get signed, and they know that I'm into the crypto business. So like they brought it up and we're talking about it, right? So it's more common, it's more talked about than ever, right? Which is another factor that doesn't drive immediate price action, but it is something that kind of potentially opens the door.
Yeah,
bigger waves.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. What else, T? What else we missed before we go to our guest?
Those are the main ones. And we can talk about the Kaido stuff later on. I mean, it's not a huge deal. The poly market stuff, I think we need a longer conversation on that. So I think if we want to get to our...
Oh, wow. Just in 20 minutes ago, it appears that poly market just bought an exchange.
Oh, wow. I missed that.
Just happened 20 minutes ago. We'll talk about it tomorrow, I guess, but I'm just seeing this Zoomified, because then you mentioned poly market in your topics, to re-enter the US market. Interesting.
Wow.
I wonder what exchange. Huh. Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. I guess we kind of thought they were at the point where they were going to be able to legally enter the
I thought they would get a DCM, yeah. I mean, they gave a DCM, like I said last week, to predict it in another bond Railbird. So I think this is going to accelerate. I don't know if you saw, I shared an article this weekend about more regulatory framework being built around prediction markets, etc. So it's this shit's gonna accelerate. Speaking of which, MYRIAD, the markets, we're cooking. We're on pace, Tyler, to have our best month ever. So we're at $1.3 million of volume. Best month is 1.5 in April, and we're 9 days left, 10 days left of the month. And we're on pace to have our best day ever today with 140K in volume in 24 hours. So
Wow, that's big.
thank you, sir. Appreciate it. But it looks like we're looking good here. MYRIAD's looking good here. So we definitely pay attention. Speaking of paying attention, let's get TP in the house. I see him in the stew. What's up? What's up? Good morning. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for working with us. You know, we love Kraken. We love Kraken here at REKT Radio. So you guys are family. We've been working with Kraken for a long time. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys on air with TP. Go to you first. We have a couple questions, lined up for you, of course. But first, I want you to give yourself a little introduction and what you do over at Kraken.
Sure. I've been working with Kraken for almost 8 years now.
Wow.
A lot of different roles, but more recently working in a kind of like business operations, economist capacity. Also did a lot of work on global corporate strategy. But I spend a lot of my time right now on kind of like special projects.
Okay, that's really cool. Well, 8 years, that's a lot.
It's a long time. It feels a lot longer than that.
I mean, Kraken is like one of the first exchanges, right? Like you guys have been around.
Yeah, the company's been around since 2011. We're actually, I think, celebrating our 14th anniversary this week, I believe.
Whoa. Yeah, it's close to the 10th anniversary of Ethereum. That's very close. Wow. I love that. Dude, you got to get us Jesse Powell on the show, man. Like, I'm a big fan. Jay Powell, not Jerome Powell, but, Jesse's a fucking legend. For those who don't know, it's a founder of Kraken. He's like one of the earliest, like, cyberpunks. This guy's like early crypto. He used to hang around
clubs. He's reachable on Twitter. You might be able to catch him there.
I think he follows me, and I'm pretty sure I slid, but maybe my slide, he's a popular guy. You know what I mean? But also, I was asking him during the whole, like, when last administration, blah, 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 all the bullshit. So that was that. But anyway, Thomas, let's talk about some stuff that you guys got going on. I mean, we've seen a lot of the tailwinds come together recently. ETF inflows, corporate treasury activities, renewed policy momentum. Kraken is always there, your CEO, et cetera. I think you guys were at the summit too, if I'm not mistaken, when I was there. So absolutely love to see that. How would you describe what's happening in this market at this point? And what do you see, how did this move sustains itself? What's the most important things that you see here in this market?
Yeah, I think when I break down this kind of question, it's important with any commodity, you kind of have to treat both the demand and supply side separately. And so let's start with the supply side. It's really, I think, grounded in last year's halving event in April of 2024. I called it the most symbolic in Bitcoin's history at the time. And the reason is quite simple. It was the halving that came with the most simplified narrative for the adopter of Bitcoin. So for example, as of right now, about 94% of all Bitcoins that will ever exist have already been mined. There's only 6% left to come. Supply inflation's at 0.8% per year. It's only going down from here with each halving cycle. And so when you think about the typical average investor or even institutional investor, those kind of data points just really quickly, easy to digest and support that kind of adoption narrative. And of course, it's setting the backdrop for all the institutional adoption we've seen over the last year and a half, including through the Bitcoin ETFs. Now let's talk about the demand cycle. Coming into this year, we definitely expected macroeconomic and geopolitical environment to be very influential. You have things like economic shocks, monetary policy, even geopolitical events impacting risk appetite in a lot of different ways. But the biggest pieces that I think you can really point to and identify as the greatest sources of single spot demand for Bitcoin are going to be from the ETFs, which have had $20 billion of cumulative net inflows year to date. For Bitcoin alone, $5 billion for Ethereum. And then MicroStrategy, which has bought about $15 billion of spot Bitcoin year to date as well. And you have dozens of these treasury vehicles now coming into the market and buying some more Bitcoin. And so that's where you're seeing a lot of that demand and a lot of that interest come into play. All the other factors some of the geopolitical tensions subsiding a little bit, the tariff discussion falling away a little bit, crypto policy also on a leg up. These are all things that support that kind of environment for risk on investor appetite coming into crypto. So all those things kind of line up to what I would say is a pretty healthy risk on, fairly aggressively positioned market right now. Yeah, no, this is awesome. I'm feeling, we are, Tyler's got the green Bulls hat on. We're feeling, this is a pretty bullish show, Thomas. We have never found a way to be bearish in the show.
like 2,000 episodes or so. So it's been quite wild. But speaking of this, like I think like, I mean, I don't think a lot of what's driving the price higher at the moment, especially on Bitcoin and Ethereum, has been these treasury companies, right? Especially with Ethereum. Now you've seen Tom Lee's on the timeline chatting with Arthur Hayes saying, yeah, we'll send this thing to $5,000 this week, right? This is pretty crazy. But you have all these vehicles coming along. Now you hear about Litecoin vehicles, hype vehicles, NFT treasury. Like you hear about a bunch of things, bunch of rumblings of things coming out. You have the ETFs, etc. Everything, of course, inspired by that MicroStrategy one. So like this dealer hedging, right? So like, how do you think dealer hedging is feeding this rally? But also, especially with MicroStrategy, etc., and this aggressive Bitcoin accumulation, how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I my personal take when it comes to crypto markets is it's an open and free market, so anyone should be able to buy it. I for what it's worth, like I'm not the biggest fan of governments owning crypto or buying crypto, for example, but I don't see any reason why, or I don't have any position as to why they should be prevented from doing so altogether. So if you're a free market, let's say a champion, then it's all fair game. With respect to like these vehicles specifically, one thing that I think about when it comes to like market positioning is trying to identify, are there areas of any kind of, or soft spots of like leverage in the system that aren't really like in your face or apparent. So an example, last market cycle, 2021-22, if you looked at some of the reports from Genesis, the trading desk that went under, their loan markets corresponded with market peaks. So they had the highest amount of active loans outstanding around the times where Bitcoin and other assets were hitting market cycle peaks. And so naturally speaking, I'm looking at these vehicles, I'm asking myself, are there any kind of like weird areas of leverage? Are they like doing a lot of debt financing? Are they doing anything that seems unsustainable? And one of the things that I focus on in particular right now is actually the use of leverage in options markets behind these vehicles. So vehicles like IBIT or MicroStrategy, you actually have a very large option market around these names. MicroStrategy in particular is perhaps like probably a top 5 most active option market across US listed equities in general. And so when I look at specifically is a metric, it's a pretty long name, but I call it a net delta adjusted open interest notional value. And so what that is basically is saying, hey, if I look at all the outstanding call options and put options on a stock, what is the value of those options in like stock equivalent terms? So are people net long or net short a company via options? And relative to the market cap, how much of the value is kind of locked up in this options market? And for names like MicroStrategy, it's in the high teens as a percentage of market cap. And that tends to be probably a little bit higher than average, but their peak is more around like 30%. For a name like IBIT, we're actually in record territory right now. So we're in the low teens as a percentage of IBIT's market cap. 6 months ago, it was more like 5%. So we've almost like doubled or tripled the value of that option market in that name alone. And so that tells me, again, that I think the current market is a little bit on the aggressive side in terms of positioning because there's that kind of risk on appetite, but it doesn't at the same time suggest that there's something super unsustainable. I'll give you one more data point here. If I track this metric on names like GameStop or AMC back in 2021, where you had that crazy bull market, that metric was as high as like 40 to 50%. That's like real meme stock unsustainable territory. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. What's your timeline? I'm curious.
What's your?
Because you sound like you know what you're talking about here. Like, what's your timeline here on this market?
I kind of have I created these like market cycle rules of thumb last year around the halving event, and there's not much science or statistics behind it because you've only had a few halving events, so it's not like you can really point to it and say it's going to work every time. But typically, my rules of thumb are market cycles tend to play out for Bitcoin and for other cryptos 12 to 18 months post halving. We're already 15 months in, so we're kind of mature in that respect. But I'm thinking like maybe end of this year could be something where we start to recalibrate the market position. Volatility tends to be much higher. So market peaks tend to see volatility for Bitcoin and other assets as high as like 100%. We are at 28% on the last 30 days. Like that's super low for Bitcoin standards, even historically. Market cycle peaks also coincide with a lot of rapid fire all-time highs. So I'm talking like 15, 20 days of all-time highs in like a month period. And we've only had 3 or 4. And the last bit here is going to be dominance. Usually a market cycle peak happens when dominance for Bitcoin market cap is actually quite low, around 30 to 40%. Right now it's 60%. So Bitcoin is still like very, very strong relative to all these other currencies. And that is to say that I haven't seen that kind of speculative trend play out, which is Bitcoin does really well, and then people start rotating into that kind of higher risk, higher reward plays in altcoins and whatnot. So I all to say, I don't think it's really played out yet. I think there's still room to run. And with crypto, the really interesting thing is that supply just doesn't respond to price. It's not like you can create more Bitcoin just because the price is higher any more than the mining is going to allow for. So in that sense, you can really have crazy price outcomes.
Yeah, no, this is true. I like this. Damn, Tyler, we're getting pulled up over here, man. This
I want access to his metrics. I wish I had the acronym that you mentioned for how you're evaluating MicroStrategy with.
I'll write about it a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. And the reason I think it even more so now is everyone I'm talking to who's following the Treasury code trade, they want, how do you think about it? How do you evaluate these companies? What makes it a buy? What makes it a sell? Why are some stronger than others? And it's such a new trade. It's hard to have much science behind it, but I think there's just a very huge lack of data points to look at all, other than like MNAV ratios to market cap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, any info I think would be greatly appreciated, especially for those.
Yeah, I'll write about it some more. I think Michael Saylor talks about it quite a bit. I mean, if you listen to some of his longer presentations, he talks about MicroStrategy's ranking in terms of options activity, for example, and this concept that volatility is the product that he's trying to sell across a lot of different vehicles within that business. And I think that's one where, when you look at the options market itself, it is by design, it's a product built around volatility. And so tends to have a lot of like hidden signals that people don't really think about too much.
Can I ask you an off the wall question real quick? I see that you're an amateur astronomer in your bio here.
Yeah.
Something that's jumped out to me just in the past 12 months of following is the moon cycles, the full moon impact on crypto. Have you done any analysis on the full moon?
I actually haven't, but there is someone internally who follows it very closely, and there's like a science behind it. I'll say that much. A lot of people spend a lot of time thinking about it, but no, I have not looked at moon cycles and how it corresponds with Bitcoin prices. Dude,
it works, man. It works. it fucking works. I'm telling you, like these full moons, where's Mara in this cycle? Like we've been following this full moon shit. I'm telling you, every time it's full moonish, like this market
I'll do some more learning about it.
I mean, you're an amateur astronomer. We need you out there fucking looking at the charts like that. You know what I mean? Like we need more of that content here. Kraken. Anyways, Thomas, I know we're coming up on time. We got one more question for you. I mean, you're talking heavily about Bitcoin here. But now we've seen a slew of like other publicly traded companies with treasuries allocate plans for like Ethereum, Solana, like I said, Hive, like all this other stuff. Could this set up the same kind of reflexive rally we've seen from Bitcoin? Because we talk about this a lot. Like I mentioned it again this morning. I was like, Ethereum could catch a bid like the last year of Bitcoin here. So don't discount this, right? And we've seen it, but it's just played catch up. It's just 4K in a way. Like we're not even out of time high yet. Like, what do you think? Could we see something similar happen to other coins here?
You can. I mean, it happens every single cycle, and it kind of follows that, just like to simplify it, that speculative trend that you just see naturally in like trading behavior, which is you have this like kingmaker asset that leads the whole category that is Bitcoin and crypto. And then people say, okay, like I've made good money in Bitcoin. Let me rotate that into something that's like higher risk that I can build alpha against. And so they start going into the altcoins. And that's what I was talking about with dominance. Right now we're at about 60% dominance. That's really high. That's typically what you see at like market trough levels in general, like across cycles. And markets usually peak around when Bitcoin dominance falls around 30 to 40%. So it's a big delta that we have yet to realize. And so when I think about some of these altcoin vehicles, I think it naturally kind of plays in that trend of like, okay, Bitcoin had its time. Now people are starting to focus their attention on what are the other kind of potential applications. And if you look at prior cycles, you had things like DeFi summer, the NFT boom, ICOs on Ethereum, right? And these all corresponded around Bitcoin halvings and pickups in Bitcoin activity. And so for me, when I think about the trends that I'm most interested in, that I think might actually pick up and help stimulate adoption in an interesting way, personally, I think things like NFTs might have a bid to catch here. I also think tokenized equities is a big field of play because that's something that's very familiar. People understand equities, and the idea that I'm now able to bring this kind of new collateral vehicle. It's like almost like a different form of stablecoin starting from zero. I mean, we launched tokenized equities a few weeks ago. The value of those equities have quadrupled in the last 3 weeks. So it's really special. And then information markets, you mentioned Polymarket earlier. That's another one that I think, again, familiar product. A lot of people understand it, and they're starting to experiment with crypto platforms that are providing that. And that gives them a natural bridge, if you will, to come into crypto and explore around. And so that's when you start to bring that kind of momentum and activity into these like alt vehicles.
Yeah, this is super cool. I love that. Listen, big fan. Shout out to Kraken, Kraken Pro, the whole fam there. Make sure you check them out, pro.kraken.com. They are show partners, but they're also just a great and very trusted exchange in general. Great tools, very good UI. And personally, it's the only exchange I use for off-ramping when I off-ramp once every like 6 years. But the only bits I've used was you guys, and honestly, it's always been great. So thank you, Thomas, for coming, and shout out to you guys for being our partners. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. Also, Bongo's down there. Kraken's the only ones with runes listed. There you go. There you go. You know, they got Doc to the Moon on there. When pups. Anyways, Thomas, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate that. Quickly, because I'm 2 minutes late to a meeting now. Let's run a quick little Plinko Sims, and then it's okay. Sims and I are both late, so I guess we'll just be late together. Let's get someone to win some money.
While we pull it up, quick breaking announcement. Fartcoin has broken 160. We are at 162.
Stop. I'm not going to get excited, Tyler. I'm not excited. Look at me.
I won't say anything else.
Look at me. I don't even care. I've been waiting 82 days for this breakout. You feel me? I'll start getting like tingling at like 2 when I see a 2 in front, but 82 fucking days of sideways, like 120 to 150, meaningless to me. Meaningless. Who won?
Untarden.
Untarden. Oh, there it is. Oh, he's excited. Look at this with the play. I won. You won, motherfucker. You won. Congratulations. He's so excited. Look at the comments. This guy's going crazy in the comments. This guy's going fucking nuts in the comments. I love that. Reminder, YEET.com. Sign up, make an account using the FOMO Hour code, and you'll have a chance to win every single day. Untarden, I would do a more fun game for you because you sound super cool, but I'm going to have to rip some Plinko for you because we really have to go off the show today. What do we do? What did we do last time, Tyler? We do 10 balls or 50?
50 balls is like a nice
50 balls? Okay.
50 $10 balls.
So $10, 50 balls. All right, Untarden. Untarden's so funny, bro. Untarden. There you go. 50. Is that good? 10, 50. Yep.
That's good.
All right, first and foremost, congrats. You won $500. Let me take a screenshot of our money here. We have $3,800. Sims. Boom. There you go. Okay, let's go. Let me put on screen and boom. All right. Let's go. Oh, this one on the right. This one. Oh, shit. Oh, 26.
Oh, 26X. That's a big one.
Oh, he did good. We had 30, 10, 116 plus the 616 plus 500. Congratulations. He just made it $1,100.
Not bad.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. 626 plus the 500. Congratulations, Untarden. We'll reach out to you. We'll get you paid. With that, we'll see you tomorrow morning. 10 a.m. Eastern Time for the episode of more on Rock Radio. Let's go.